Hi, old beaver! Away!
He's just really, really good. Oh, and we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Critscast. We've got some more Highlander action for you. We are now up to week 3, I believe, in UGC, and this is a platinum game. We've got two teams who are 2-0 for the season, so we're going to see an unbeaten record destroyed tonight. On one side, we do have former Premiership team Feila eSports, who did finish in 4th in the most recent ETF12 season. On the other side, we have Team Colonslash. I do believe it is the Frosties edition, a former high team that was trying to get into Premiership in recent months. And they are back with a vengeance in Platinum. I am CeeJaey, and joining me tonight is Chando on the mic with Wiethoofd on the cam. Chando, are you looking forward to this game, man?
Absolutely. It's going to be another good match. Two good teams in this UGC Platinum season. Feila, pretty famous in the scene at this point. They come back strong every single time, and I'm sure this season is going to be no different. And of course, Frosties making a comeback now. I think they've been inactive for a couple of seasons. Moist done pretty good to what it was for. Maybe a few improvements. I'm not 100% sure on their roster for UGC, but I know it's going to be pretty good. And yeah, really looking forward to it. Two good teams on a fairly strange, an unusual map for me anyway. CP Vanguard, I never played it. I've never really seen it played much either, so it's going to be a whole new experience for me, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, Vanguard is one of those maps that has been kind of, I suppose, if you play more UGC, it has been around. You know, in the sixes and the Highlander scene, it was added as part of, I think it was the Meet Your Match update. It became like an official map, so it's been involved in the sort of the in-game matchmaking, the competitive side, I suppose, and obviously the casual as well. So it has been around, but it's really not a super popular map in the European scene. So it is a fairly new map for maybe some of these players. I remember playing it a few seasons ago in UC Plat, but you know, for these teams, I do wonder how prepared they are, like strats wise, or whether it's just going to be, you know, just play it by ear, you know, just kind of YOLO it and go in and see what happens. It's 5 CP. 5 CP, we know in Highlander, it can either be very, very fast back and forth, or it can be very, very slow. And talking about the rosters there, I am actually struggling to work out who's playing for who. Because as we said, Feila, you know, they probably would have considered themselves the 3rd best team in Prem last season. However, in the last game they lost, quite surprisingly, I guess, against I think it was Crazy Boy Clan,
yeah,
which meant so they finished in 4th instead of 3rd, and there was this big kind of overhaul, and some players left the team, including Moist, who was the heavy for Feila last season, and he's re-established TC Frosties as a team. So it'll be interesting to see who's playing for who. Mezzo's on the roster. I think he's still the spy for Feila. We'll have to see. There were a lot of rec posts going up. We'll just have to wait until the team's ready up. But I mean, from your knowledge of who you think's playing for which side, who do you think is the stronger team at the moment, Chando? I mean, we've got one team that I suppose is more established, but is, you know, bringing in new players, where we've got another team that's rebuilt itself, but you know, they have been around for a while as well.
Yeah, I think a lot are going to depend on how many of the old players more back, because if you're going to bring back a good amount, like let's say 6 or 7 or even more, then you're going to already have that same synergy that you saw beforehand. That's really going to mean a lot, because obviously they've been playing for too long as a rebuilt team. So it's going to be really important if they can keep their old members on the roster. That's gonna do a lot of good. However, Feila, like, if there's one thing about Joe, is that he is a committed team leader, and he will always do his best to make sure that his new players try and fit in with his play style. So both of them, I think, have the potential to be very good and cohesive teams. It's going to be a case, though, maybe, I think, more for which team's the better strat for Vanguard. In my opinion, I don't think there's going to be many strats on this map. I think a lot of it's going to be improvisation, due to both these teams probably care a lot more about map talking and making up strats for, let's face it, more legitimate maps, i.e. the ones in ETF12, because these, I mean, Vanguard, I've never seen a map talk on it. I don't even know if, I don't think that they're going to bother with it much. So a lot of it, in my opinion, is going to down to like improvisation, just thinking off the top of their head. And I think Joe's pretty good at that as well. So that could work in favour for Feila.
Absolutely. I do think, to some element, it is going to come down to DM, and when you kind of boil it down to that degree, it's pretty much a case of which combo and which flank kind of unit is going to be stronger and win the fights. If you get a flank that's going to absolutely dominate, then it's going to be very difficult for the enemy team to cope. On a 5 CP map, like we always talk about the 6s classes, don't we? In 5 CP Highlander, it's always scout, soldier, demo. If you have those strong classes, then of course you're gonna have a good time on a 5 CP map. So with somebody like Joe playing, he's gonna really take this team by the scruff of the neck and just tell them what to do, and take a lot of the heals and just try to take control of the game. It should be interesting, but obviously this is UGC. We are going to have a couple of different players from what we normally see, perhaps with the more established roster. But I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that this team in the blue is Feila, and I do think they're all on their classes. So looks like we've got Justice on Scout. Now Justice played, I think it was for Crazy Boy Clan last season. Do correct me if I'm wrong, when it might have been
it was Crazy Boy. Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, Justice is an excellent player. I mean, I really, really do rate him. He's played Scout most recently, but he's played in Prem as a heavy and a soldier. He's just very good at what he does. He's just an all good round TF2 player. Looks like we've got Sandburn on soldier, obviously an SCCK player. Looks like he's playing for Feila in this cup, or this league, sorry. On soldier, Strono 8 on Pyro, Joe obviously on demo, Kaltu on heavy, Yellow on NG, Layla of course on medic. Kunu is going to be playing sniper for them with Mezzo on spy. We'll come take a look at the TC roster a little bit later on, but Chando, we are going towards a mid fight, and I'm just going to see which demo is going to get there first, because as we always know, it should be pretty fast, but TC are running the crits, Chando.
Yeah, that's a pretty unusual play, but I guess they're going to be looking for maybe a bit of a gimmick play there as we do get onto the mid fight now. We've got the red team, which is TC, playing back fairly passively, and Joe is going to move straight on that right flank there along with the combo. They're going to take up good space, and already TC happen to look at backing out there. You've got the medic, including middle, ready to back up, but the crits is there now. They are going to pop it out. See if they can get a good pick before. Oh, and yeah, that's a nice 3k already. Wow. He does get, including middle, does actually go down. I don't know who that is. I think it might be Knoz, and he does go down, but he's already achieved what he needed to. And actually, they're going to be able to recap that straw. Is that straw? Tries to go for the flog play there. He does manage to take down Kakautu, but regardless, they're going to hold on to that middle fight. And that's a good play there by TC. Wait, was that TC?
Yeah, it was TC. It was TC ran out with the crits, but it was actually Feila in the end who win the mid fight. So they do actually capture middle point. Now it was a very interesting fight. I mean, as we do see a headshot there from Kunu to take down the medic. Everyone is basically included middle, so they're making it as awkward as they can for us to cast this game. But Feila are walking in on the second point now. They're taking this far side, and they've already shut down the choke, allowing Justice there to cap up the point. And they're just kind of cleaning up the frags here. The heavy BT is all the way in. He's going to get taken down fairly easily. And there's 3 down here for TC, and nobody majorly dead for Feila. They can take this advantage up through the top. This top area is very, very, very popular because it allows you to get straight onto the point like that. And the cap is so fast, Chando, that they literally don't even have to use Uber. They walk onto the point and they cap it in a matter of seconds. And that first round is done in less than 2 minutes.
Okay, I didn't even realize that right flank was a thing. So when I just saw them suddenly walk right, I was thinking they're just going to hit a wall. No, they dropped straight on point, and before I even know what's going on, they've won the first point. That was insane. Like you can see now why they push up top to right. They don't have to. They literally land straight on in there without any trouble. That was a very smart pair by who was that? It was a TC? No, it was
Feila.
It was Feila, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that push is usually spammed out, but as there was no defense there, it was very difficult, as we do see a backstab there from Mezzo to take down the medic. So Moist is down, no heals for his team, but Joe's also gone down there, Cloudy with the big snipes to take him down, and that is the entire combo down as Layla goes down very late on to the flog from the Pyro, and he does go down for it, and then Kunu getting a snipe there, a couple of kills, one onto Cloudy. But it does look like TC are going to get the better of this mid fight. It says only 4 players left alive here for Feila now, and despite losing their medic early onto a backstab, they just recovered really well there and just kind of walked forward, focused a few frags, and ended up winning the fight. Actually, the cap hasn't gone down yet, Chando, so technically this is still a mid fight.
It's still possibly reclaimable for Feila there. You've got Oh no, he does go down. Sunburn trying to work on the flank there, putting some damage out, but Joe's ready to come back in, coming up on the left side, putting out good damage onto Big T on heavy. The Spy actually taking down Big T, and I believe Joe managed to get the pipe onto Moist playing medic, I believe. I honestly have no idea. Everyone's included mid now, so this is hella confusing, but it looks like Feila is going to take fight there. Nice recap there. Included middle, take down Joe and Mezzo as well. That's slow down their second push once again.
All I know is Zamperoni is playing Pyro for TC. The soldier is Hearts, the medic is Moist, and the demo is actually included middle. So we'll just kind of roll with that and just play it as we go along. But Feila in control of the point. And they are walking forward. A bit of milk there going on to Big T. Actually goes down very weak there. Nice clutch arrow coming in from Moist. But you just see Feila taking control of this far side. They go in through the barn and just take control and get really close up to the choke. Kunu there taking down the soldier, which is of course Hearts on the Uber comes in onto Straightaway. He hasn't got much help, but finally Joe comes in. We can see Zamperoni there with the flog does run around and get Kunu. So no sniper for TC. And that does mean, for Feila. That does mean that TC have an Uber advantage now. They have 100% in the bank. And it is a crit. He's going to come out here onto included middle. Takes down Kaltu there with the Iron Bomber pipes. Some dodging there from Moist. He tries to get away, but then gets backstabbed. Some nice dodging from him, but he can't dodge the backstab. Mezzo comes in, gets another med pick for him. Just a little cheeky hi in the chat, just to let him know that people are there. But then Zamperoni, wow, no, actually Big T going ham, takes down a few players, including Layla. So Meds are just dying left, right, and centre here, Chando. They just can't seem to stay alive at the moment.
Yeah, no one was focusing Big T. They pushed straight up into him and kind of didn't notice the fattest player on the team there, and he went huge, just took down Layla and was able to almost single-handedly defend that point. As pushed up, he does get taken down, however, by Mezzo. He's going to get the pick and he's going to get away. He doesn't manage to get the pick onto Moist. Maybe ready to go in for another play there, but they are ready to push back in. Kakauti goes down already. They're pushing in on the left side now, ready to push into Barnyard. They may have caught Layla out. Layla does manage to dodge out, including missing a few pipes, and kills coming left, right, and center.
Cloudy!
Wow.
I'm sorry, Cloudy just did a 180, shot Mezzo right in the face as he was trying to fight him, and then takes down Layla, and then takes down Yellow as well. I'm just going to call it out. I'm biased. Cloudy is my man, but he is going a little bit ham right there, but the rest of his team can't cope, and they do start falling apart piece by piece as Feila just basically, like we said earlier, Chando, just kind of bringing the DM to the table, and it's less about strats and more about which team is going to work better as a unit. And Kunu there finishes his Cloudy's Reign of Terror, but in comes included Length. Not sure who the spy is, I'd have to double check that. Dead ring behind
I think it might
Layla.
be Crayon.
Ah, okay.
If I take a guess.
We could just call everybody TC included middle, if that's the way these guys want to roll, that's fine. Not confusing at all. But middle included, that Zamperoni, has gone down as included mid is also dead from Strano 8. He picks up a 2k, and Samburn really and Mezzo, the only casualties for Feila. They could probably push off this advantage as long as Layla survives. She is at 80-90% Uber right now. Kaltu going down quite late on. That's a 25-second respawn for him, so that might slow things here, but it does look like they want to go for the same push again, Chando, for this top right side.
Well, it works really well now, and they're already getting Kuno in, who gets a nice pick onto the medic. That's going to free up full Uber from Layla's going to give them a bit of, and it looks like going to get ready to back out here. However, Justice and Kunu both go down. They may just have to back out and wait for respawns before pushing on this full Uber ad. Big T trying to push out here, does get taken out, but he does get the force off. That's going to do a lot of good there. They're going to be forced to push in now, and charging charge, included middle, the real included middle as well, actually manages to back away, and then Strone, I do believe, flogging in and takes down Layla before she has a chance to escape there. Not looking too great for Feila now, and it looks like that TC are going to hang on to this point. I'm so shocked that didn't work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a typical Joe play there where everyone else in his team had died, and he goes in and he just does a whole bunch of damage, which is allowing his team to push in here. Straight away, it's so weak. Finally gets finished off, and Zamperoni there with the flog takes down Justice. Samburn is trying to bit of a MGE here, but both soldiers die to each other. And in the end, there's 4 players left up for Feila here. I don't think they're going to be able to push. One of them is their medic though. Layla has survived, and she's going to have about a 30% advantage on Moist as he just spawns now. He is let's have a look what medigun he is running. He's onto the Uber now, so You know, we're not going to have any crits. Now you push Cloudy! There's another med pick. Weather report is looking pretty cloudy right now, Chando. Cloudy is he's keeping TC in this, I feel, and a couple of players are just going huge, and the variety of included middles are pulling their weight right now.
Definitely, yeah, Cloudy's getting the key picks when they're very much needed, and that was one of them. And Layla is going to respawn, however, going to be on about a 50% disadvantage for Feila at the moment, so they're going to have to play basically outside there, but they're trying to get the sneaky cap there. It's such a quick cap, you already said. Mezzo getting the pick onto Cloudy, middle going down at them, and he's just sitting on the point, and he almost gets it, but he is going to be forced to back off, and Deadringer comes out. They are just having to hug onto the point now. They've lost the high ground. The Uber comes out, and Layla's going to maybe have to back up here to try and save her advantage. And now on 70%, they've just got to wait for their spawners, but there are so many players down for Feila. They could potentially push out here. Joe's going to be up, and they're going to back out onto point, but they're playing with a very good Uber advantage. This is looking very good if Layla doesn't do anything wrong. But it looks like Kunu is actually going to get picked by Cloud. I might slow him down a little bit, and Joe gets the
I'm not sure if I'm roboting. I think it's Chando's roboting there, but
Sentry's not going to last.
I think Chando's lagging out. I'm not sure if he can hear us, but basically Joe got a model kill there, and then Feila just pushed in with the Uber and captured the point to make it 2-0. So we are up to 2-0 right now, and I have to say, considering they're running a Flog Pyro and a Demo Night, TZ are doing pretty well. Their players are performing there. But they need to have that little extra edge to get onto it, as we do see the scout getting far forward, getting some nice damage, chip damage onto Joe. Actually lands a nice me shot there. Joe is very, very weak. Has to wait for an arrow from his medic to actually get back into this fight. And then Mezzo comes in, gets the backstab onto Big T. He's going to open things up there, as Zamperoni is also down. 3 down for TC. And they are fairly important place, but Layla goes down to Cloudy. And that means heals are in the favor of TC. If they want to push this, they're going to be able to. Moist trying to survive there. He's at about 60 HP for a moment. Joe is charging in, and is going to take down the medic with the pipes. And it just seemed there that TC have the players. They should be able to recapture this point, but they lose their medic there. So really unfortunate for them. But Chando, are you back? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure what was happening there with my microphone. It is just awful. But they are going to be able to push counters for free at this point. And I don't believe Moist, did he use?
Moist died there just at the end there to Joe. He kind of charged in and landed a couple of pipes.
Yeah, well, it's and now, in a weird turn of events, these have been some really back and forth mids, and this is no different, as Feila's actually going to retake it after getting that pick onto Moist there. They're going to be able to walk straight in now with a good advantage, 80%, maybe looking to push in. Yeah, they're going to push in on this left side now. TC playing pretty far back, and they're going to be able to walk this in more or less for free. The nice pick onto Layla once again. There is no stopping this man today. He's just going absolutely ham at the moment, getting so many good picks. However, the kills are now in favour of Feila, and they're going to get this cap, I do believe. Yeah, they are, and they're going to be able to walk this straight in. There's only 2 up, walking into left side. There's nothing stopping them. A few respawners, but enough. They're just getting straight onto point, and times there's a small bit of defense coming in from the soldier, but it's not going to be enough. And yeah, that's going to be 3-0 now to Feila. Really nice pick there by Cloudy, but it just wasn't enough.
I mean, you got the drop onto Layla. That was actually a drop of +2 in chat, if you please. I think that was our first drop of the game so far, but just the rest of Feila, I'm just going to say it's the Joe calls. He's just going to say, right, everyone just walk forward, hold W. Slam mouse 1 as hard as you can, and that's what they did, and they walked forward, they fragged, and they managed to just kill everybody except for the medic, and if the medic's got no one to heal, can't do anything. Cloudy there taking down Streno 8 early on in the fight, but TC players are melting here. Both the soldier, heavy, and NG are all dead, as does the demo. That is the actual TC included middle is dead. He's the man who's been making the plays with the crits so far in this game, but a nice reflect there from TC included middle, which is actually Zamperoni, and actually Layla goes down again to Cloudy. Cloudy on a 4k on this mid fight. He's actually picked up 4 out of these 7 kills, and Zamperoni is on medic now. So Yeah, so it looks like Moist is on Pyro now. Sorry, so Moist was the guy who got the Reflect kill earlier on there. Zamperoni is on Medic. He does have an Uber. He is at 100%. He uses it straight away. He's using it on Kronk. And Kronk is chasing down Kaltu with a pistol. So this is exciting. Zamperoni goes for the Uber, so extends his Uber by a little bit more. He's going to run away from Streno. It finally gets taken down there. But TC with a nice exchange. And they're probably going to be able to capture this point. Unless Mezzo goes and gets a 2k, of course. Chando and Feila back in control.
Wow, what is with these mid-fights today? There's just back and forth frags coming around. Layla getting killed again by the TC Spy, and they still look like they have domination of the point there, but Respawn's coming in soon. They might be able to recontest this. Could TC, Gunu getting a pick there onto, I believe it was the Pyro, and that's gonna, yeah, they, I mean, no one's really committing to the point right now. I have no idea what's going on. Looks like that Feila's combo pushing up on the left side, pushing into their barn, and yeah, they've got the point now, and they're ready to push this through. Layla dying twice, but again, it wasn't enough. I don't know if it's just lack of maybe her positioning on this map, if they haven't really ran through enough info on this map, where the sidelines are. She's going down quite a lot at the moment, but it doesn't seem to make a huge difference as the heavy and soldier for TC go down. They may be able to get in here. There's a bomb coming in from Sandburn. They're pushing them way far back. Adi goes down. Oh, Kunu getting a nice pick onto him. Going to free up space. There's no real worry potentially for Layla, as she's now got 90% on the crits, in fact. And maybe getting ready for a crits play here. Zamperoni only on 90% Uber. Could use this effectively. The Uber's going to come in, but they're not watching the sentry, but it doesn't matter. That's a quick 3k for Joe. They have to deal with that sentry, and then they can push it straight in. Kronk's the last man up. Sentry goes down. They're just going to storm straight onto point there with no contest. A brilliant crit. Not even the sentry can prevent it. Joe going absolutely huge that game.
Yeah, he picked up a 3k with just one pipe, I think it was, with that Iron Bomber, and just slammed them. And then Kunu also picked up a couple of frags as well. But as you can see, it is 4-0, and UGC rules dictate that it's considered 1/2 when a team reaches 4 capped points. So we are kind of in a bit of a half-time situation right now. Feila just need to win one more round in the second half, and they will take it 5-0, and they will take themselves to 3-0 for the season. But TC is still not out of this. They could still win the second half. They could still go and do exactly the same and win 4 rounds. But it does look like Feila are still in the blue here, starting to roll out with TC in the red. Lost track of who's playing what. Basically included middle is he's a beast, and he's playing about 6 or 7 different classes right now. And we'll see how it goes, as the demo is he's sticking off Joe here. So included middle is being protected, and included middle gets a reflect here, and he's going to be supported by included middle, but included middle also dies. And Zamperoni is healing included length, goes back to included Big T, and it does look like TC somehow win that mid fight, but Mezzo does take down included, and Zamperoni with the Ubersaw. So a lot of included middle action, Chando, and it looks like included middle won the mid fight.
Included middle is just going absolutely nuts this game, to be honest. Like, whatever he's doing, he's just insane. Included middle, definitely the MVP for TC today. I don't even, maybe it's the real one, maybe it's not. I don't really think it matters. Point is,
it's like a lottery,
he's
isn't
a
it?
god.
Like, you don't know what's happening. Is it the real included middle making a big play, or is it, you know, one of the imposters? You just never know. That's the excitement.
Ultimate spy play is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Next level spy strats from TC there. You just don't know who they are, what they're doing. Keeping you on the keeping the viewers on the edge of their seats, keeping me permanently frustrated as they push in to second point now. Kakaltu's going to go down, and Layla might be looking to back out here. She's very weak, only on 50 health, but it looks like they're going to try and push around. She does get piped. So many pipes by included middle. Is it the real one? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. I think it might be Moist Penguin in this particular case. He goes down to Joe, but it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to push straight in now. And maybe the comeback's on here. The scout just walks around to point there, and no one's able to contest him. I've never seen a point cap so fast. I don't know if it's just me or if it's actually...
It's like original Badlands level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I think the idea is that there is a lot of high ground on the last point, that you can defend it from top right and top left, and you know the only ways to get in are through bottom right or you know whatever. But it just seems teams rush the point when they have an advantage, and it works out really well for them. So yeah, TC there with 1 round back in this fixture. They need to get 3 more to be on level terms, as included length is getting in there, but Zamperoni goes down to a headshot from Kunu. That man is up for best debut of the ETF 12 season. If you want to check out the Highlander awards, Kunu played for Crazy Boy Clan in season 13, I think is the one. And he's up for, I think he's up for best sniper as well, but also for debut. But he gets taken down by Cloudy. Of course, a former Premiership winner, and TC starting to crumble a little bit here. They only got 4 players left alive. Layla is still alive with 100% in the bank. She is on the Uber. And there is a level 3 built by Kronk already on second. He was prepared to lose that mid-fight. He was all the way back. It's like, you know, that's casual Dust Bowl strats where you got some dude just building a sentry on last already. But this could be all over if Feila take this in and get the cap. That is going to be GG. And they're actually doing a decent job here of defending it, Chando.
Yeah, for once they were actually able to contest the point before they were able to get players on, but Pyro goes straight on to getting good time on point. They're committing a lot of players there, but Big T going 3k, does get taken down by Justice though. Justice also takes down Kronk, nearly gets him, and now it's just Sandburn. He's going to go for it, but it's not going to amount to anything as the mini sentry just completely denies him. Mesa gets the snap, however, onto Kunu, and he's just on the point and no one can stop him. What is that? That cap strats at their finest. CeeJaey.
Dude, like, you know, assassin classes, they're only there for picks, right? They're not there to just frag. Like, Kunu and Mezzo just walking. Kunu's just casually just headshotting people from one side. Mezzo comes in from behind and is just shooting people as well. Like, there was a couple of huge plays there. Strono8 got a massive reflect there onto the medic. Took down the medic. I think it was Zamperoni playing medic in this instance. Great reflect from Hearts, who he tried to jump in, and his rocket was utilized to the great effect to get his own med killed. But then Hearts did go huge. I think he got 2 or 3 frags on the point to just hold it off. And for a moment there, like oh damn, like they're actually defending this. But then Kunu and Mezzo just come in and kill a couple of people left on the point. Like, they're not the classes you'd expect to be able to just stroll in and take a 1v1 or a 2v2 or something like that. But it's exactly what they did, and that means Feila take that round. Of course, only needed 1 round in this second half, having won the first one 4-0. So they take the entire map 5-1. And did you expect it to be that one-sided, Chando?
Honestly, no. I was expecting a little bit more TC. However, you got to keep in mind, like, when we do look at the log, they were having some major change-ups to their like roster each game. Like, they had Moist changing from like medic to demo. They had Zamperoni changing from like pyro to medic, and included middle changing from like demo man to pyro, and just having some change-ups. And a lot of those, you know, Big T isn't a heavy main. Included middle isn't a demo main. In fact, basically all of them, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say, were more or less off-classing. Maybe the exception of Cloudy and a couple others, Crayon as well. So yeah, maybe if they had committed to their classes, you could tell that they were maybe just mucking around a little bit. They had, yeah, it was a bit of a meme. I think it's safe to say. I was seeing the Chantage being used and crits plays and the standard gimmicks that you do when you're just there to have a bit of fun. And I thought they did have a lot of fun, but it came at the expense of more or less a roll. I do think we have the logs up now, and
yeah, I'm looking at the first round here where it was 4-0, and the top fragger during that was actually Kunu. Went 21 for 9, so you know, getting over 400 DPM, that's pretty impressive. You know, obviously 5CP, a sniper can go wild. Never really thought Vanguard was a very sniper-friendly map, but then again, I only played it once or twice in competitive sort of scenario, so I guess, you know, in the situation where we were in, he was given a lot of space and he was able to land those shots. Kaltu, though, going 18 for 9 as well, so doing very well on the heavy class there for Feila. Third highest was Cloudy. We did see some nice sprees from him there. He gets 17 kills, and actually, I think he, just taking a look at the med picks, he got 5 med picks. Like, the next highest was Joe with 4, and there's no one else who's got more than 2. So Cloudy and Joe definitely had it in for the enemy medics there. And then we just kind of got everyone lingering around the teens, you know, 16, 15 and stuff like that. But definitely the snipers going ham there across both rounds. Not the last round where it was 1-1. It was actually the heavies. Got Big T and Kaltu top fragging there. But obviously the round was very, very short. It's very hard to dictate what you can see going on there. But do you think that Feila are probably, like, I'm not sure of the other teams who are playing at the moment. in UGC? I know a lot of the Premiership teams aren't really bothering anymore. But would you say Feila are kind of the favourites for the Platinum title this time around?
Yeah, I think Feila have what it takes, to be honest. They are one of the only teams in Plat this season, from what I can tell, that is A, got a good DM roster, and B, are taking it seriously. And props to them for that. I don't think this is actually possibly one of their first seasons. I think it may be their first season where they have a very strong chance at winning. Before, you'd had SDCK, Strong Opinions, teams like that were playing. I don't know if they were playing too seriously, but they had the DM to back it up regardless. And well, really, like, it means that I think for the first time, Feila have a very, very chance of taking this first place title, and I think they're very committed to doing that, and there doesn't seem to be anyone that can contest them. I casted a game on the first week versus Envision, who I thought would have been potentially one of the best teams, and it was a bit of a roll. But you never know, really. There may be some of the project teams that I haven't really looked into too much that could pull out some major DM or just really just hit it off in terms of their cohesion, and could give Feila eSports a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, there was one game casted last week where it was a UA player against Kitty, and I was expecting Kitty to be the Prem team, that we saw most recent in the ETF 12 season. But in fact, actually, UA player has a lot of those players. The likes of D-Toads, DQZ, Poker, Ehor, all of these players are playing, and Tracker was on there as well, on the sniper class. And those are all kind of fairly big names. And I know Imber, it was on Lakeside, and Imber the Spy went absolutely huge. So I would say they're a team that could actually potentially upset, and depending on how their game went today, it could be the fixture we see next week with Feila against UA player. They are against a team called Danish Noises, which it looks like a mixed team to me. So I'm not exactly sure. I
believe they're actually planning to play ETF to well as well. I think they're trying to.
Oh, really?
I think it's Starshot's team, and they're trying to make it something big. Whether or not that's going to arise to anything, I haven't looked into it too much. But they may have a chance if they are keen as a new team, and the entire team is like a keen bunch of players. Then potentially they have what it takes. But I guess that's something to see for a later week. Hopefully we can maybe get a game casted in this UGC.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there's going to be competition. It's nice to see that there's a few teams who are challenging each other, and even though TC were maybe memeing it up a little bit and swapping classes, they did manage to get a round off of Feila. So who knows? The teams get to those positions during the regular season, and then it's all about how they perform in the playoffs. But Chando, any last words before we disappear?
I mean, it was a pretty short-lived cast, this one. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, really, and shout out to Wiethoofd and Critscast for taking the time to cast these UGC matches. I think it means a lot for both the community and for the UGC itself. So it's really a good thing. What about you, CeeJaey?
Well, yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching on Critscast for coming in and watching. It's UGC. It may not be the highest level of European Highlander as we know at ETF 12, but UGC can be competitive, as we have seen in the past, and it's good to see some of these teams develop. You can say, hey, I saw the rebirth of TC Frosties, or the first iteration of the new Feila side. So it's something for you guys to watch in the coming weeks. Next week we do have Swiftwater Final. That is obviously the map that UGC has stuck with for a long, long time, and then eventually became an official map by Valve into TF2. So that is going to be the week 4 map. We'll find out who is playing who at some point during the week, and we'll give you a bit more information on any casts that will be happening next Monday. A shout out to Essentials as well for doing casting as well with regards in conjunction with Critscast. Hopefully we can get a lot of casts done with both Sixes and Highlander, get all of the game modes covered in the coming weeks. But thank you, Chando, for casting with me, and obviously Wiethoofd on the production, and Critscast for obviously giving us this platform to do a great Highlander cast, and obviously to the teams as well, for those of you who from the teams have joined the cast to hear the final words. Thank you for putting on a good show. There were some great plays and some big frags there, so thank you for doing that for us. But thank you for watching, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next week.